Hey guys, I'm Tim with BleepinJeep. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to remove the fenders from my 98 Jeep Cherokee. This job will be exactly the same on 97 to '01 models, but very similar on all years of the Cherokee and a lot of other vehicles for that matter. So if you're new to the channel or you aren't up to speed, basically, I didn't want to do this, but I actually had to end up cutting out the fenders on a trip. I went to Moab, Utah, where I met up with Matt and Tyler, and I had just put my Jeep together, just built it before going out there, and the tires, brand new at the time, were smashing into the fenders and slicing the tires so deep it was actually going through the lugs into the carcass of the tire, and we just had to make room. So Matt asked if he could square cut the fenders just to get the metal out of the way. I said, go for it. I'll get some new fenders and replace them as soon as I get back from the trip. Well, that was about 11 months ago now, and I'm finally getting around to replacing the fenders. Aaron was nice enough to get one fender for me for my birthday and the other for Christmas. And these are, the replacement fenders are the cheapest ones available on Amazon. And I'm really curious to see just how well they line up and how they work. All right, so I had to remove the winch off the Jeep. Because the header panel right here, this entire front clip is going to have to come off because the fender is attached to it. The antenna is right over here. This is going to have to come out. And then there's a whole bunch of bolts that hold the fender, or the header panel on rather, all down the front. So if your Jeep is set up like mine, you have a winch on the front, you're going to have to take that off. But if you don't have one, then not a problem. And on the 97 to '01s, the windshield wiper fluid container is right over here on this side, and I thought initially it was part of the fender, but it looks like it's just connected to the inner fender, so we shouldn't have any issue with that, but that's just something to be aware of. All right, we'll start taking stuff apart. So Aaron's taking off the antenna. So this antenna nut is kind of a pain. It has 3 little prongs on it, and it requires a special little antenna retaining nut removal tool specific to Mopar or Jeep. But I got a couple needle nose pliers here that just might work. The problem is none of those things are equally across from each other, those little ports. So it's hard to get proper leverage on it. You could definitely just throw vice grips on it. I don't want to mar it up too bad though, since I plan on putting it right back on. So I have a plan. Let me give it a shot. All right, so these are my the heftiest pair of needle nose I have that fit in this thing. I'm thinking if I can get good leverage on them, squeeze them tight, and rotate with this wrench. Oh, messed it all up. Well, vice grips it is. I didn't want to mess this thing up, but I guess there are bigger things to cry about. So hopefully this gets it right off of there. There it goes. How not to remove your antenna retaining nut. Not quite the way I wanted to do that. Aha. I'm going to start taking off the front grille here and the bezel around the headlights and everything in there. There's a couple little bolts hiding down inside here. And then I'm already missing, we started taking these off at some point, I don't remember why, but missing a bunch of bolts already. So these are Torx bits that go in there, Torx bolts. And then there are some more hiding down over this way. There's a couple way down in there that are going to have to come off as well. And then I believe there are some in front of the door as well. So there's just bolts all over, and basically they're just taking everything apart that is connected to the fender. It's like the turn indicators will have to come out also. I think the headlight's going to come out as well. Probably can't see it yet, but one of the bolts that hold the header panel on is right back in here. This is all pretty easy to disassemble though. It's just a bunch of screws, nothing too major. All that pulled out. That's a big one. All right, so right here, that's one of the bolts. Get these two out now. So all along here we have little 10mm nuts. We're going to have to get all those out of there. Well, got a light bulb stuck in there, but otherwise it's free. So with the header panel out of the way, you can see why we had to take it off. This is the fender right here, and there are two little Torx bolts that were in there behind the headlight bezel and behind the header panel. So that's why we had to take all that off. So I've gone ahead and removed all the bolts from this fender all the way down, and as you can see, it is it's just about ready to come off. There's two down here that are giving me some trouble. This one got cut by Matt a little bit, and then this one right back in there I can't reach because my rock slider is in the way. So in my case, I'm actually gonna have to remove my sliders, but luckily they're just bolted on the pinch seam and the unibody, and I deliberately didn't want to weld them on just in case. I had to take them off, and I'm glad that I did not weld them on. So you likely won't have to do that unless you have rock sliders, in which case you might have to. But anyway, I'm going to pull those off real quick. Alright, just got this slider pulled off, and now you can see these two bolts down here a little better. Right there, this guy and that guy. I'm going to pull those out, and then we'll open the door, pull the bolts out that are in there, and then this fender should be ready for removal. Well, that one freed itself. Here we are inside the door, and there, I think there are three. Let me count: 1, 2, at least 2, maybe 3 bolts. One used to be right there, and the other one is down there, right over there. I thought they were in, but they're already out. I guess we started taking this fender off in Moab 11 months ago, and I have all those bolts in a bag somewhere, maybe in the center console. That would be amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna have to look for those. There somewhere. All right, so I think we have all the bolts out of here, and now that fender should be ready to come off. So I've gone ahead and removed the other rock slider. Now I'm taking off the driver's side fender here. So I just got to blast these bolts out, and there's a couple more up here, and then again inside the door, same as the passenger side. And then once you have all these bolts out, the fender is ready to come off. So just like on the other side, my bolts that were inside the door, I have already taken those off and misplaced them somewhere. I'll blast these out of here. There's 2 on the bottom. Now that the rock slider's out of the way, and I think ready to go. Okay guys, that's how you remove the fenders on a 97 to 01 Cherokee. The only thing I didn't touch on is the inner fender, which is that rubberized plastic liner that is oftentimes inside the wheel well here. And there are some little plastic clips that help hold all that in. Those have already been removed from my Jeep, and when I put the new fenders on and the new flares, I plan on reinstalling them. But if you have those in the way, you're just going to have to pull the plastic clips out. And don't worry about damaging the clips. They sell them at parts stores in a bag of 25 or 50, and they're very inexpensive. So maybe you're at the local pull apart or whatever junkyard is closest to where you live, and you are looking to remove the fenders off of a Cherokee. Well, I hope this video has been helpful, and if it has, please be sure to thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and also the blue bell for notifications. We really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.